Hello and welcome to Jumanji. Now, the first scene is shot from 1869. You see two boys in a carriage, and they're carrying something. It seems to be a trunk. They've tied it up with a rope as well, and put several locks on it. So it's something that they're desperately trying to get rid of. Now they do dig a hole and they put this trunk in this very deep hole. And then the little boy says, "What if someone digs it up?" And with a very eerie voice, the bigger boy says, "May God have mercy on his soul." And then the movie brings us to 1969, and we get introduced to Alan Parrish of New Hampshire. So the family is wealthy, but Alan doesn't seem to be very popular because there is a group of boys, specifically Billy is the leader who bullies him. Now, this group of boys are chasing him, so he bikes as fast as possible to the factory. Now, Alan doesn't immediately see his dad because the dad's office is on the next level, but he's on the ground floor where the factory is operating, of course. He knows one of the workers. His name is Carl Bentley. He's made a prototype of a sports shoe and he shows it to Alan. Alan just very casually puts this on the conveyor belt, and the machine blows up because this shoe has gone into the mechanism and has broken it. Now, in the next scene, of course, Alan hasn't told his dad that he's been chased by many boys. The dad thinks that it's only Billy. They find Alan and they beat him up. They just open the trunk and he finds this board game. He doesn't make much of it first, but he sees the name Jumanji printed on it. And he arrives home, the mum sees him beaten up and bleeding and all that. But then he does tell his mum that it wasn't only Billy Jessup, it was a gang of boys, so that he was outnumbered. So at dinner, the dad acknowledges this and says, "I didn't know it was that many boys. Of course, otherwise I would have given you a lift. But I'm very proud of you for standing up to that many people." So in acknowledgement of this, me and your mother have decided to send you to the Cliffside School for Boys. He gets into a verbal argument with his dad, and then the last thing he says to his dad is, "I don't want to ever see you again." Now, Alan has just had enough of everyone, the kids at school who constantly bully him. He doesn't really have any friends, and he's not happy with his parents because they want to send him away. So he's just had just about enough, and he wants to pack his bag and escape. Now, he takes a suitcase, packs up some of his clothes and also food, and Jumanji, the board game. There's a knock on the door, on the front door, and he opens the door, and it's Sarah Whittle. Sarah is Billy Jessup's girlfriend, and she said that I've brought your bike back. As soon as they open the game, two pieces immediately, as if they were magnetized, they start representing Alan and Sarah. And while she's saying, "I haven't played board games in 3-4 years," she also rolls the dice as if she was throwing the dice back into the game. And the game thinks that she's played. A message appears at the center of the game. So this brown oracle or whatever at the center of the game gives messages. So when you roll, it gives you a message about what's about to happen. And this reads, "At night they fly, you better run, these winged things aren't that fun." Some noise in the chimney and don't really make much of it. And then she says she's slightly worried, and she says, close the game, let's put it away. And he then rolls the dice, I think by mistake, and the message he gets is, "In the jungle you must wait until the dice read 5 or 8. Now, neither of them are sure what these two messages refer to, but before you know it, Alan gets sucked into the game. So imagine a very strong vacuum cleaner or vortex literally sucks the whole kid into this central part of the game. A huge colony or group of bats follow her, and she's obviously very terrified, and she runs down the street. The next scene is from 26 years later. In the front door of the parish mansion opening, a real estate person goes in with a woman and 2 children. The family are interested in the property, and they buy it and they move in. The old girl is called Judy and the little boy is called Peter, so we'll refer to them as Judy and Peter throughout the movie. Well, Peter opens the door to an attic and sees a bat, and of course it terrifies him. And the family bring in an inspector, but he looks in all the nooks and crannies of the house. He doesn't see any bats. Now, the next morning they want to go to school. And Judy then hears some drumming. Peter hears it, but he pretends he doesn't hear it. But the drumming sound and the noises get even louder, so that Peter can ignore, and they both run up to the attic, because that's where the source of the noise was. And before they know it, these 2 pieces get sucked into the starting places, as if the game wants them to start the game. And it's a game for those who seek to find a way to leave the world behind. Judy rolls the dice first, and this is the message that the game brings. This will not be an easy mission. Monkeys will slow the expedition. But they can hear from the kitchen, supposedly, or downstairs, they can hear some pots and pans being dropped and thrown around. This time is Peter's turn. He rolls the dice, he gets a double, but the message also comes that his fangs are sharp, he likes your taste. Your party better move post haste. Again, they're a little bit concerned about the sound of that message. And from another room, they hear the roar of supposedly a lion. Then he says, no, I got a double, so I need to roll the dice again. And this time he gets an 8 or a 5. And before they know it, this caveman runs out of somewhere and he even fights the lion for them. They run away, and he does catch up with them, and he says, one of you has got a 5 or an 8. And Judy points to Peter, and the caveman tries to hug Peter, but then Pooh's so terrified of him that they run away. And Alan backs out of the house and then onto the street, and is nearly hit by a car. And this is a policeman. Now, the policeman comes out and talks to him, and what the hell are you doing? I nearly hit you. And lo and behold, Alan does notice his badge, and it says Car Bentley. And a few monkeys that were released in earlier scenes of the movie, they managed to get in Bentley's car. They shoot his gun and also drive the car off. And we see then Carl running down the street after his car. Then eventually he sees the game and he's terrified of it, and he tells the children to take this away from me. I don't want to see it. And of course, then he agrees to play. He rolls the dice, but then he says, well, it's not my turn. And he remembers that when he started the game with Sarah 26 years ago, she threw the dice. It wasn't Alan's turn, it was Sarah's turn. Now, a woman answers the doorbell. Now, the woman who opens the door denies that she knows of Sarah Whittle, but Alan does recognize her. And when she comes to, she sees the board game on the table and shrieks and gets up from her chair and wants to run away. Anyway, they try to convince Sarah to play. So her piece starts to move, and this is the message. The message they get reads, they grow much faster than bamboo. Take care, they'll come after you. So this is a very fast-growing plant, set of plants, and within, I would say, a minute, they completely surround this room. They grow very fast, and they have these yellow pods, yellow and purple pods, and for every now and again, they throw these poisonous barbs. So while they're saying this, a little branch comes out of underneath the carpet and ties around Peter's foot. and drags Peter across the room underneath all the carpets. Then Alan goes and finds a sword and cuts this little branch that was a little thingy that was coming out. Now Alan manages to roll the dice one more time, and this unleashes a hunter from the jungle. Alan returns, and someone else then rolls the dice, and this time they get some indication of animals getting released from the jungle. So they hear this very loud sound of thumping and loud footsteps, and this stream of animals charge through the house, breaking everything in their path, and they finally manage to break a hole in one of the walls of the house, and they leave. The party of four have a vested interest in finishing the game, because they know that if someone finishes the game and wins Jumanji, the effects of the game is going to go away, so they go looking for the game. Now the stork goes towards the river, and they follow the stork, and then drops the game in the river. The same policeman, he was suspicious of Alan and said, "I know that these animals wreaking havoc in town is something to do with you." While Carl Bentley and also Alan and Sarah are having a conversation, little Peter thinks of something. He takes the board game out and he tries to roll the dice so they land on a certain number. Effectively, he's trying to cheat. And the game gives a message that you're trying to cheat and you need to be punished. So before we know it, he is turning into a monkey. Judy, Peter and Sarah have to go into town to bail Alan out from jail. And on their way, and also in town, they see the devastating effects of the stampede and the animals wreaking havoc in town. Now, you might also remember that when Alan last rolled the dice, he unleashed a hunter. He goes to a shop, an arms shop, and he pays some gold coins and buys quite a substantial machine gun. And afterwards, Alan comes out of the back seat of the police car, and Carl opens his handcuffs, and Alan cuffs Carl to the vehicle and runs away. The three play some tricks on the hunter. For instance, Peter uses two gas cylinders to throw a canoe at the hunter and hits him, and he gets hurt. Of course, now the party of three have a chance to escape, and they run back home. Aunt Laura, so the aunt of the children, is also driving home from work, but she's completely clueless to what is happening in town, because work mustn't have been in town. But then at a crossroad, she's attacked her car is attacked by a group of monkeys again. That's Carl Bentley. So there doesn't seem to be that many policemen in town apart from Carl Bentley, because he's everywhere. But he gives her a ride, and she says, "I need to go to the old parish house." And, the penny drops for Carl, and he says, "Are you related to Judy and Peter, the two children there?" And this really worries Aunt Laura, and she says, "What's wrong? What has happened to them?" And he says, "Let's go together, I'll tell you." So there's Alan, Sarah and Peter and Judy reconvene at home, and they know that they need to finish the game, because once someone wins Jumanji and calls out its name, the effects of the game will go away. So that's what they're aiming to do. Now, someone rolls the dice and it reads, "Don't be fooled, it isn't thunder. Staying put would be a blunder." So again, Alan knows these references because, of course, he's lived in the jungle for 26 years, or have to climb and hang from a chandelier. And at this point, Alan is still in the water. He wrestles with a crocodile. Laura and Carl Bentley get to the front door of the parish's mansion, and they can hear a lot of screaming and noise and stuff from inside. And Carl reassures Laura and says, "Don't worry, it's probably the television." Before they know it, the whole door crashes open, and this huge wave of water hits them. The party of four eventually get themselves to the second story, where, of course, they were a little bit more immune from the effects of the flooding. And someone else rolls the dice, and this time is about a quicksand, and the floor beneath them starts sinking them in. So the person who's more affected is Alan. He gets sucked into the floor, but then the next person rolls the dice, and the effects of this come to a halt. Now this is what it looks like, and the next roll dice has unleashed these really big, enormous spiders, and they're coming towards Sarah and Alan. And of course the two people standing here are now Judy and Peter, and they use whatever they find around the room to try to kill these spiders. And Laura, she's of course terrified by what she sees. The house is turned into a jungle. And of course, the hunter at this point catches up, and he finds Alan. Now it was Alan's turn. He's holding the dice. He wanted to roll the dice, but then the hunter pointed the gun at him. The hunter says, "Drop them." And of course, Alan's very happy to hear that, because he wants to roll the dice and hopefully finish the game. It's enough to get him into Jumanji, and he wins the game. The game was over. Alan had won the game, and every single animal, item, and human being, and hunter, and whatever that came out of the game, then in this massive vortex, spins back into the game, into Jumanji, and the game is over. Now, before they know it, Alan and Sarah go back to 1969. What Alan and Sarah do is then they wrap the game up and attach some bricks to it and throw it in a river. But then we get to the final scenes of the movie, and it's a Christmas party. Alan and Sarah have got married. They're expecting a child. And in this party, they are now friends with the family of Peter and Judy.